What is up, my friend? Donnie Baker here with the LPR Sound Foundation. You know what don't get talked about enough? Patch bays. Signal flow. Man, signal flow is the key. Signal flow is everything in these rooms. Any studio that you are in, any studio that you have access to, your studio that you're in right now watching me wanting to learn about patch bays has a signal path that you need to understand. You need to know exactly where your signal's coming from, exactly where your signal's going to, and all the little things that are happening to your signal along the way. This is the most important thing that we do, and I don't think it's talked about enough. So let me explain to you and help you out a little bit, and I'm gonna run a slideshow here in a bit, explaining different patch bay configurations and how they work and why we need them. You may not need a patch bay in your studio. If you just got one thing, let's say you got a Apollo Twin and you one microphone or one guitar, you might have a stereo keyboard that you want to get sounds off of. Bro, just turn that Twin around and plug stuff in. That's easy. But you start adding some gear where you want to go out of your Twin and come back into your Twin. You want to insert something. And let's say you got two different compressors. On one thing, you might want to insert it on a drum bus. On another thing, you might want to insert it in your vocal signal chain while you're actually tracking. You got a different one. Bro, you might need a patch bay. And you might want to know how to hook it up. So let's go talk about that real quick. So here we are, we're gonna talk about patch bays. Patch bay configurations explained. How you should configure your patch bay. Here's a I know you've heard the term fully normal, half normal, wanna be normal, wish I was normal, that kind of stuff. What does it actually mean? A fully normal patch bay. The traditional setup includes running your device outputs to the top row and on the back, allowing you to then route through the corresponding inputs below. All right, this sounds scientific to me. In a nutshell, fully normal means that it's always hooked up the way you want it to. You can break the normal by patching in the top or the bottom. If you jack in the top of an output, you jack into the bottom of an input, it breaks the normal. Both jacks, both top and bottom jacks are normaled, going from and going to, but if you put a patch cable into one, it will break that normal. You put a patch cable in the top, it breaks. You put a patch cable in the bottom, it breaks. Half normal patch bays. This don't get the love that it needs. If you want to pause the video here and read the definition of it, that's cool. It's similar to a fully normaled, but not really. If you patch in the top jack, it will not break the normal. If you patch in the bottom jack, it will break the normal. This comes in really handy if you want to, say, send to a headphone feed, but you also want to send it to an auxiliary output going to a reverb. You want to have both. You can jack in the top. It does not break the normal. The bottom is still going to your reverb. You can get really creative in your patching if you have a half normal setup. Non-normaled or denormaled. Basically what this means, bro, is that the top jack, input, and output go to the same place. They're not connected. You can use these to run a signal to a guitar pedal or something, but it's just always on, and it doesn't affect anything if you jack in the top or the bottom. So some patch bays like the HOSA patch bay module allow you to choose the normaling that you need. They might have a switch on it. Some have a switch. In this room, I'll put a picture of it up here. Yeah, in this room, I have the Behringer Ultra Patch Pro, the model PX3000, which they have switches for half normaled, through, and fully normaled. Pretty simple, pretty cool. Those patch bays are not that expensive, maybe 99 bucks on Amazon. The throughput patch bay. Now, this just means that it's not necessarily to create complex chains, but simply to hide cable clutter behind the desk. You got a bunch of stuff you got to plug in. Like, let's say you've got 4 keyboards that have stereo outputs. You want to put those on a patch bay, but you don't need them on all the time. You're only going to use one at a time. So you put them on the back of a patch bay in a throughput or a through. All right, here are my actual patch bay labels that are in this studio at this time. Studio B here at ES Audio Recording Studios, you can take a look at how I've designed these. And if you really want to get cool with it, you can go over to traceaudio.com. You see the labels there. They make these labels, and these are created specifically for the Behringer PX3000. They have other models that they make these patch bays for. Dude, these things are great. They're made of vinyl. You can clean them. If they get a little dirty, you can, you know, and you can go on and change the colors and change the labels, and it's not that expensive, man. I think it's like 25 bucks for this. Pretty simple. Now, the first thing you want to do, man, is you want to assess all of your gear and everything that you might want to plug into your patch bay. Draw out a map, draw a wire diagram so that you make sure that you have everything that you need. You make sure you have all the cables and connectors that you need before you go buy your patch bays. It's really important to know that if you're going to run microphone setups that require phantom power, make sure you get the correct patch bay that will accommodate this. Now, these PX3000s do accommodate phantom power. It's not a problem. Here's my map. I mapped this out in numbers on my Mac. And all I did was make an idea of what I wanted and how I wanted it. More of the map. And this is what translated into those labels that you see. I created this map first to make sure that I've got everything that I need. Also, there in the center, you see there it says HN. Go back one. It says FN. That's fully normaled or half normaled. Now, you see the mic line 1 through 10 is fully normaled into where it needs to go. The first 8 go into the Apollo because I have an Apollo 8P. The last 2, number 9 and 10, go straight into my analog console. I may want to use the preamps on my console at some point, and I do have those connected. Okay, you see that I've got my auxiliaries going out. Those are all half normaled. So if I plug in the top, it does not break the normal. If I plug into the bottom, the input jack, it does break the normal. Here's some more. This is the third patch bay, left and right. So patch cables, once you got your plan, you're gonna know you're gonna want to know exactly how many patch cables you're gonna need and what length you're gonna require. These you could get, you know, pretty much anywhere, man. You go to Guitar Center, Amazon, whatever. Now, depending on the type, there are 1/4-inch patch bays. The PX3000's a 1/4-inch patch bay, or TRS. Then you can get into the, like in Studio A, we have the TT, or tiny telephone type TRS cables. Type TRS patch bays, and those you know, there's not really any difference in that. The biggest difference is that the TT is going to allow you to get more jacks in a smaller footprint, a smaller space. So you can get, if you got a lot of stuff you got to patch in like we have in our Studio A, I mean, dude, we got 48 inputs and 48 outputs going to the console. It's crazy, and everything is on the patch bay in that room. So you got to organize. You have to have a plan. First of all, you have to have a plan. Then you should, like, make sure that your cables aren't just, like, laying everywhere, man. Keep things organized, keep things together. Use cable ties, split looms, whatever you got to do to keep the cable clutter from behind the desk from looking nasty, man. Clients come in, they don't want to see that. They don't want to see all these cables hanging out up underneath the desk. Keep them all tidy. All right, here's some links. Go to traceaudio.com, see if they support your patch bay for labels. If you do need help in designing your patch bay, I'm going to include a download link in the description of this video for the Studio B patch bay map sheets version that I use to make. You don't have to use the same one. You can just change it to however you need it to be. And patch bay definitions found in this publication is a courtesy of HOSA. Thank you very much, HOSA. Shout out to you. So, shout out to HOSA again for helping me out with those definitions in that quick video. And if you do need help, you can always email me at info@learnprorecording.com. I'm always available to help you out if you got questions, comments, or concerns. But I do want to share something with you. I want to share a like I said earlier, man, it's all about signal flow, and we have a free. I don't want to call it a mini course because I don't want to give it. I don't want to define it like that. But it's a quick course. Might take you a couple hours to look at it, but there's a ton of information in there, all about patch bays, all about your signal flow going from point A to point B, and you can get it at learnprorecording.com/basics. Like I said, it's free, doesn't cost you anything. Go jump in, check it out. There's some downloads there. There's also some downloads in there with there's a track sheet, and there's also I think there's a cheat sheet involved in that for EQs and compressions, things like that. Go check that out, man. learnprorecording.com/basics. basics. And if you want more information like this, why don't you go follow this playlist? Check out all the stuff we've got available for you. We will see you next time. My name is Donnie B, and I am out.